America 3017. The ultra-conservative Manifest Party controls the government. And the government controls everything. Nevertheless, we persist. We resist. We step out of line and we unfollow.
It doesn't matter if you've wined and dined with kings and queens or slept in back alleys and dined on pork and beans. If you have a true desire and a true taste for freedom, there's always a spot at the table for you. Unless, of course, we don't have a table. If you dine with the king, steal their table and bring it. That'd be good. This is Unfollow the Revolution, the only podcast devoted to fighting the good fight and standing up for the little guy. I am your handsomely intrepid host, Jack, accompanied as always by my cohorts.
Hi, so Jack, you mentioned stealing. I mean, you tell me that what that means is taking what you want because you have the freedom to do so.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was trying to pick up a couple of seasonings from the convenience store, and I just took it. And apparently they decided to use their First Amendment rights, the Second Amendment, and fire their weapons at me. They got me a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm still here. But I figured I should maybe change my name. I did sort of tell them that Charlie did it. And then, yeah.
Okay.
And then Donald did it.
So what are we working with this time?
So today, this week, for the rest of my life, I'm Herbert I. McDonough.
Herbert I. McDonough.
813121.
813121. All right. Sure. We'll try on that pair of slippers and walk around for a little bit.
You can call me Hi, I think, because you like short things. So Hi 813121.
Hi 8131. Okay. Well,
Hi.
Hello. I like that it's short. This is actually one of my favorite new names you've come up with for yourself.
Oh, and those shockingly undulcet tones are our other cohort.
Yeah, this is Tag Yolo Thompson again, still being kidnapped. But listen, I wanna apologize for last week. I feel things got a little heated. I feel like I lost my temper, and I just want to say I'm sorry. I think the malnutrition and the cabin fever really got to me. But this week I feel the Stockholm syndrome kicking back in.
Oh, all right.
And I'm starting to identify with you, even though I completely disagree with everything you say on a political level.
Right. Yeah.
I think on a personal level, I'm starting to re-identify with you. So
well, I for one, I was actually pleasantly surprised by the red-blooded passion that was prevalent last episode from both sides. Back when you were still...
Yeah, I don't think that's the kind of thing listeners want to hear. They don't want to hear two people fighting about politics. They want to hear the truth and only the truth. Just one side and the right side. So...
I haven't forgiven you yet, Tag. It's a
wow.
long road to redemption.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that was neither Charlie nor Donald.
That was Hi 813.
And
I'm going to get your
not even
name right
Hi.
this time. Hi 813121. I acknowledge that is your name.
Trying to butter me up.
Right. Well, usually, folks, we have a guest, and we had a great one planned this week. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a scheduling snafu. Wait.
Who designed these vents? Jesus, I cannot find a goddamn light anywhere in this entire facility.
Where's that coming from?
I don't know.
Okay, I can hear you.
There's
say ABCs or something.
is that
A,
is
B, C, E, D, F, G.
Here we go. Get closer.
What is that?
I
see the gray.
Grab-
Get ready for a bang or something.
Grab-
Watch
Is
your
there
head.
someone in our vents?
Against your head.
All right, I'm backing up. I'm backing up.
I can't move.
Oh my God! You're a
What is that?
What is that? That is a big old tubby boy in that one.
Are you guys broadcasting in here? Broadcasting from this location?
put Tag over the top of it. Let's throw Tag at it.
No! Hey,
Whoa! Hey!
I'm running around.
Guys!
I swear to God, get your hands off of me. I'm
Let's
fine.
just-
I'm fine. Get away from me.
Everyone, just take a moment here.
Okay.
Take some cleansing breaths.
Yeah.
This is the new reality. We're gonna accept this. This is very large.
Why do you look so surprised?
Well,
to see.
I mean, honestly, I'm not. Okay, listeners at home, a giant rat just fell through the vent.
All right, well, watch it with giant. I exercise.
I mean, I feel
No,
like
you landed on my head, dude. You're giant.
Yeah, okay.
You're a small dog, I'd say, size. Like, you couldn't fit in a purse, right?
You really don't have any muscles to support your neck, Tag.
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
that's right.
think
I'm a lot
maybe.
weaker than I used to be.
Look, can someone please answer my goddamn question? Are you broadcasting from here or something, okay? I got an ad to plug.
wow, okay, yeah, we do a podcast here. It's called Unfollow.
Please
the
don't
Revolution.
reintroduce the podcast again.
It's about fighting the good fight and
What,
standing
is
up for the
this
little
going
guy.
to air soon? Because my circus is only going to be in town for like 2 weeks. Is it going to drop before then?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
get that.
Good. Okay. Just shut up for a second. I gotta get this out there. I need people to show up. We're running low on food. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole world round, welcome. You simply must come down to Squiggly Pinko's Floating Circus. Come to Squiggly Pinko's Floating Circus. See the most amazing sights you've ever seen. Animals balanced on other animals. Animals balanced under other animals. And the whole thing, of course, floating atop a giant raft made entirely of rats. You never seen anything like it. You never thought that something like that could float. Come on down to Squiggly Pinko's Floating Circus. In town only for like 2 weeks. Probably like 1 by the time this comes out. All right, thank you. I'm gonna head out now.
Well, wait. Actually, we have a bit of a hole in our scheduling. Being a good broadcaster means knowing how to think on your feet and seize an opportunity when you see it. Squiggly, is that correct? Are you Squiggly Pinko?
No, Squiggly Pinko is the name of the circus.
Oh, okay.
My name's Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, we are short of a guest, and I think that you could maybe use a little bit longer of a platform to plug your live entertainment, maybe?
I mean, I got nowhere to be. Everybody down at the tent knows what they're up to right now.
Yeah, also, Rodney, you sound like a hardworking, responsible bean. And
Bean? Did you just call me a bean?
Did you
Must
just
be
call him a
vegetable.
bean?
like not a person, but
Whoa.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm not a person to the
that's-
people down here.
Saying
Well,
vegetables
this
aren't
is
people,
just
Tag.
what I
I'm
get for
trying
trying
to
to
give you a compliment.
come
okay?
down
I'm
to the
trying
south, bring my beautiful entertainment to the south. This is what I get, huh? This is the treatment. I'm not even a person down here. You know, in New York, nobody would ever say anything like that to me. Furthermore, the streets are much cleaner than they are here because everyone's rowing around on gondolas instead of these crap-ass vehicles which you land.
Well,
okay.
yeah, sorry we haven't flooded.
Well-
I'm sorry our streets are
And
still paved.
you know what? That's worth apologizing for.
You know, I'm not actually apologizing for it.
You know, guys, there's always room for apologies and there's always room for blaming Tag, but let's try and move things aside a little bit. New York sounds very
Wait a minute.
fascinating. You sound. Wait, what?
I recognize this particular brand of criticism. Are you a manifest someone? Are you
Yes,
a manifest?
proud and raised manifest employee, sir.
Great. Well, congratulations. I'm sure you have a lot of fun collecting fines all day long. I'm sure that's a lot of fun.
Well, that shows your ignorance. I've never collected a fine in my life.
Yeah, I believe you.
No, it's true. I just destroy art.
Yeah,
That's
That's
kind
all
of
I do.
Let me tell you a fact right now. One, destroying art is already that's horrifying. And second of all, every member of the manifest collects fines. That's a fact. That's a New York fact.
And I guess if you can't collect fines, that makes you
It's
really
like-
bad at your job, right?
You're not even a member of the manifest at that point or something.
Oh.
How dare you?
Wow.
Oh,
You take that back. If I weren't tied to this chair.
I'm already liking this energy. We're going to get into a little bit more detail about that, Rodney Dangerfield. Usually to start off the show, though, we have what's known as our breaking news segment. So if you'll indulge us, we'll
Oh,
get
yeah,
through
sure.
that.
I got breaking news.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, sure. This just in, coming floating down the Okefahooch. It's a whole circus built entirely on top of a giant raft made of rats. You simply must come out to see it. Animals balanced on, under, and underneath under animals.
That's a great plug, Rodney.
That's more break-in news. We actually have breaking news.
Yeah.
Break-in news.
Yeah, you know how you're an intruder.
A raft made of rats floating down the Okefahooch is a break-in news?
It's just.
I guess it's
It was a pun. I got
I
you.
get- yeah.
I got it.
You're making a more specific reference to the way that I entered your bunker.
So about the news.
I feel a little attacked.
So our beginning story, our original guest was supposed to be Max Baxley, who was a professional arsonist. He was going to tell me a lot of juicy details about, fighting the manifest, a lot of insurrection. Unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for me, but also fortunately for me, and fortunately for the viewers of television, he was actually captured in what is going to be the premiere episode of Natalie on the Attackally.
Oh my God! So I'm like 2 degrees separated from that show now.
Exactly. Not
That
only
is
that,
so cool.
so we know that like she's already out there doing her job, and
yeah.
number 2, we already know that she's in the area. Guys, she's like recording around
Wait a minute,
here.
who is this? Natalie who?
You don't know about Natalie?
Well, rats don't really watch a lot of TV. Not to stereotype, but right.
Oh.
I mean, that is a stereotype. I've
But
watched tons of
it's true, right?
No, it's not even true. Rats watch lots of television.
Well, all right,
you
Natalie-
jerk. You racist, speciest, pardon me.
Okay.
Specious.
Rats don't live for 30 years, right?
Oh, see, look how little you know. Maybe once upon a time that was the case. I'm the 200-year-old rat.
What?
Oh my God.
That's right. Shows how little you know. I come to
Okay.
the South. Nobody
Well,
knows
then
nothing about a rat's life.
I don't know how you missed this show, but there was a TV show called That's Natalie.
I've seen That's Natalie. Is
Well,
that
it's that
Natalie?
Natalie. It's
Yeah,
that Natalie.
That was the question I just asked you.
How-
Was
yeah, it's
who's
that
the
Natalie.
Yeah,
Natalie?
she's coming back with a reality show.
That's the most exciting
how
news
have-
I ever heard.
How have you missed that? Do you live under a rock?
No, I live under dirt. And
there-
frequently,
is there
as
sometimes a
member of
rock under that
entire,
dirt?
Sorry, I
Is
interrupted.
there sometimes a rock over that dirt?
Should the tunnel traverse beneath a rock, then yes. Does that satisfy your definition of living under a rock?
It
You really
surely does.
Mincing words, Tag. What is your deal today?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just
See,
feel like.
this is what manifest people do. They mince. They're mincers. They're word
Exactly.
You
mincers.
mean we like being correct?
They'll pick any little thing. It's, you're wrong for this reason. You're wrong for that reason. You know what? There's a whole lot of reasons. There's a million ways to be wrong and it for it to not matter to no one.
That's a very good point. That actually leads into our next big story.
I cannot wait to find out how smooth this segue is.
Right. Okay. So you know how they're making Party Blimp 1, correct? It's in construction right now. It's going to be Chaz's new residency, leaving the White House, where he will rule over as president.
Testament to the greatness of America.
Relatively young cabinet member by the name of Dewey Tallboy, who is in charge of the construction, was unfortunately recorded making a few remarks about Party Blimp 1, where he said, and I quote, "It all seems a little big, doesn't it? I mean, floating above everyone, monitoring everyone 24 hours a day, it seems a little too much, kind of like he's compensating for something, right?" As a result of this, President Chaz has now enacted his first act of legislation, which is known as the Dewey Sucks Act. Under this act, Dewey Tallboy is now a fugitive of the state. It has been provisioned in the legislation that he has what is known as a 10-minute head start, and now he is wanted by anyone in the country. On top of that, anyone that has the name Dewey is an enemy of the state. That is anyone. Also, if you are a boy who happens to be tall, you are also liable to be arrested. I, for one, think this is a gross stepping of boundaries for the manifest. This is ridiculous. It's persecuting an entire group of people merely for their name or how tall of a boy they are. And this is ridiculous.
No, you've got to let Chaz rule the country. Give him a chance, okay? He's enacted one piece of legislation and already you have a problem with it.
All right, I got a follow-up question.
All right.
So that 10-minute head start piece of legislation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, is that 10 normal minutes? Or is that 10 New York minutes?
It's probably 10 normal because outside of
I'm
New
sorry.
York, no one really...
What's a New York minute?
A New York minute's 4 minutes. How long do you think you got to microwave a pizza?
You don't microwave a piece of
Like
pizza.
a piece of pizza?
Like a piece of pizza.
Like 225? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You know what we say?
What?
Half a minute. Look how much sooner you have your pizza.
Well, I mean, like, do the microwaves work off New York minutes?
Of course they do. They're in New York City.
Huh. All I know is the legislation was enacted while within the White House, while Dewey Tallboy was present.
That's probably a normal minute.
So probably a normal minute, I'm guessing. He did very quickly. I'm guessing if it was a New York minute, he would have hung around for like a little bit longer.
He
Got
would
like
have
some water or something.
Well, he would have had more time.
That's fair. That's fair.
Do you think Natalie will go after him?
Oh, we could only be so lucky.
I mean, it's a big conflict of interest for me. On the one hand, I want to see Natalie on the hunt. On the other hand, I don't want to see someone attacked merely for stating their opinion. It's a real catch-34.
Well, no, I think being attacked for stating your opinion is about the most just thing that could happen. It's way better than being attacked for your parents' opinion, for example. It's way more just to be attacked for your own opinion.
Oh yeah, what a spectacular insight you have right there. Isn't that just amazing? So let's name more things where one's conveniently worse than the other, even though both of them are awful. You know what sucks? Getting your finger cut off.
Oh.
But you know what? You could have gotten 2 fingers cut off. You could have gotten a hand cut off.
Now, that's actually an important lesson. We're trying to teach him that there's hope in loss, and that whenever we take something away from me, there's always something else that we can take away from him. So that's actually, he's kind of an object lesson.
I'll cut off a finger or a hand.
Oh, we can cut off a finger or a hand today.
Is that what we're doing?
I wouldn't mind. I am very hungry.
Oh, you
okay.
eat fingers and hands.
I have eaten fingers and
Well,
hands.
I've got a treat for you. We've got some Nick Cage fingers and hands.
Are you the Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
one of
the many.
We may not be New York, but, we know how to cook every once in a while.
Well, a Nicolas Cage is the same the world round, as they say.
There you go.
That's true.
We serve them up with the little toothpicks and everything. We call them finger foods. It's really nice. Well,
So Rodney.
before
okay.
I'd like to throw one more thing in though.
Yeah.
I'd heard from Ransom that actually Chaz had went back to the Puppet Masters to have an additional length attached, whatever that means.
This is hearsay. You can't just throw this out on the broadcast without any kind of background.
From their child.
I think it's really irresponsible journalism for us to just be throwing rumors out there
That
about
sounds
the
right
president.
to me. Does this sound right to you guys?
Oh,
That
sounds
seems
right.
like the sort of thing you do.
Look, only one person can throw out news because it sounds right, and that is the press secretary of the United States of America.
I've been throwing out news because it sounds right for the past 2 months.
And Ransom is, I think, a reliable source. Ransom posted that on social media, and so it has to be true, right?
You want to hear a piece of news that does not sound right?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Listen to this.
Okay.
Oh,
That's wrong.
Doesn't sound right at all, does it?
Oh God,
that was awful.
That was like 5 mouths all suckling for the same teat.
I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna wash my ears out with the tags buckets.
I got 5 mouths inside my mouth.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is that a 200-year-old rat thing, or is that just a New York thing?
That's just me.
Okay.
Most rats only got 1 mouth in there. I got
Okay.
5 mouths inside my mouth.
Is that why you're part of the circus?
Yeah, I do an act where I sing a barbershop quintet all by myself.
Oh wow.
That's actually really impressive.
Yeah, Rodney, let's get a little bit into this. How did you? I mean, you've definitely got a talent there. How did you end up how'd you end up finding this circus of yours?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, it all started out just on the canals of New York City. I would pick myself a stoop where there was enough room to perform. And of course, there's so many other rats, very talented animals. New York, 90% animal.
Oh,
It's 90% animal. It's just a fact for you, just so you got a proper picture in your head. A whole bunch of animals in gondolas, gondola poling their way up and down the canals in New York City.
What kind of animals are we talking? Are we
Yeah, is
talking
it
like
predominantly
Yeah, like
rat or
regular?
I would think mostly amphibious, given that New York is mostly water, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfectly fine guess, but again, Mr. Manifest, you're completely wrong.
Oh.
It's almost entirely mammals. It's all a bunch of land mammals.
Can we turn this into like a quiz show where we electrocute Tag every time he's wrong?
Every time he's wrong about New York City.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
I mean, I don't know a lot about New York
we
City.
have a lot of
I will
faulty
admit that.
wiring
I
and
mean,
a lot of puddles.
Listen, I came down hard on you that time. Of course, there's amphibious animals. Of course, there's lots of
Okay.
them. Of course, they make a very healthy home for themselves. I was answering the question in terms of biomass, however. And
Oh.
by biomass, it is in fact mostly mammals.
Okay, all right.
So I'm performing my stoop. I've got my act where I'm singing 5 parts at the same time with my one funky mouth. And all over on all these other stoops, there's animals doing these crazy, wonderful things. Like there's giraffes where they loop their necks around each other and then hang upside down. You got monkeys who are there's just a barrel sitting on the stoop for a moment there, and then boom, suddenly there's just monkeys pouring out of that barrel, way more than you would ever expect
Oh,
to
wow.
see. Like a really startling number, and they've all got squeaky red noses, and it's hilarious.
I feel like one monkey is a startling number for me.
No, but I'm talking about a barrel full of monkeys.
Okay.
That sounds pretty fun.
And all of us are just trying to make a living. Just trying to, anybody who can throw a nice, juicy Nicolas Cage finger down in front of us so that we can eat for one more day. But I've got this business-minded mind, you know. I've got
Okay.
I got ideas. I can think like ahead. I can plan for the future.
Self-starter.
You know, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So here's the thing. There's these fellas, a bunch of rats. One of them's my cousin. That's how I figured out about it. He said, "I got this incredible act. I'm rolling in fingers every day. What you do is a bunch of rats. You can just tie all your arms and legs and tails together, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You actually can float on water if you just put a bunch of rats together, because that dense network of warm ratty bodies and fur actually traps all these air bubbles that you can float along the canals of New York City.
Oh,
Yeah, actually, I made one of those in 5th grade for a science project.
You tied a bunch of rats together in
You
5th grade.
monster.
You
That is
sick
not
monster.
okay.
You just
They can do it.
yeah.
That's all right
We are
for
rats.
them.
Yeah.
We consented to be in a raft.
I got an A.
So wait. So what you're telling me is that you're proud of your achievements you got through another species' work.
Yeah.
You specious piece of garbage.
I feel like a lot of labels are being thrown out here, and I don't think they're called for.
I thought rats like garbage. Is
Well,
that?
I mean, yeah. Well, piece of garbage that's just how we say fella. So I just said
okay.
you specious fella.
you just
So really, I only threw one label at you because
Okay.
I do. Yeah, you're a piece of garbage, I'm a piece of garbage. You're just a bunch of pieces.
I
of
see,
garbage.
I see
alright,
it getting
okay,
really.
yeah.
See, this is the kind of thing that I hate coming from animals. That
What?
Whoa.
This is,
From
listen,
all
listen to
animals.
this,
Everything
listen to this,
coming out of your
listen.
mouth.
That you get so upset when humans pick on you, but what about animal on animal violence, huh? I don't see you. You're talking about rats tying each other together, and you're fine with that. Oh, but a human does it, and all of a sudden you got a problem with it, and it's just this double standard. I just can't win because I'm human. You know, sorry, I'm human. God, I'm just tired of being a second-class citizen in my own country.
I'm just gonna let that hang for a minute.
I'm the most uncomfortable I've ever been.
Yeah.
Here.
So my cousin's got all these rats. together.
Yeah, your cousin.
And we're just accumulating. It's a real snowball effect because, you know, every rat who sees this raft is like, I got to get in on this for them cage fingers. So eventually we got so many rats floating down, floating around the canals of New York City. It can support some real tonnage on top. Like we're talking like real estate on top of this rat raft.
Oh my God.
So I start getting the other animals involved. Hey, everyone's getting a little bit tired of the rat raft. That's not quite enough for people anymore.
Uh-huh.
But this is not just a performance in itself. It is but a stage for greater performance. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm getting it. This is
So we're
real.
inviting the other
Yeah.
animals off of their stoops, not getting enough fingers onto our rat raft. And now we're rolling through the canals of New York, fingers flying from the rooftops. Everyone thinks this is the greatest goddamn thing that they've ever seen. And they're right. It is the greatest goddamn thing that any of you have ever seen. You got to catch it while it's in town. We're coming down the Okifahuchi River.
2 weeks. For 2 weeks.
Sometime in the next 2 weeks, yeah. And then, you know, lo and behold, the currents carried us yet beyond the canals of New York City. And now pretty much wherever there is water that is, you know, in some way connected to something else, the old rat raft is going to get there eventually. And that's the time for you to get your yums and give us our yums because we only accept fingers as payment.
Okay. You know what? I'm honestly interested. I want to check this out. I do gotta ask you though. I mean, do you have any plans of any like linking water, maybe further out west or anything like that?
Yeah, this is nationally broadcast, so if you just want to put the message out there this isn't just a local thing.
I feel like when tornado season comes around, do you have any plans? Maybe hitching a ride on that, getting flung somewhere else?
I'm going to be honest. We don't know what's going to happen. We're just a bunch of rats all linked together on a body of water. Nothing more except a whole lot of fun for the whole family.
All right.
And if the river's flowing south, then we're going south. And if the river goes north, then we end up back north. It's funny that you talk about tornadoes. We've actually had like one time an earthquake just completely knocked down the city that we were in, but it opened up a completely new avenue for water, and we were part of a veritable inland tsunami that deposited us somewhere in the Midwest.
Oh wow. It's like I always said. There's no such thing as failure. There's only opportunity. You know, you just have to be able to keep your eyes open and just seize the moment. You know.
Nowhere else is that as clear as when you're on the water.
That's fair. You know,
beautiful.
a life amongst the waves.
What
It's
sort
not
of?
waves.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, excuse me.
What sort of What sort of talent are you looking for? Because I mean, that sounds like a wonderful life.
Oh yeah, our boy High over here is actually he's quite the ombudsman.
Oh, hi. They wouldn't want you because you're human, and this is apparently a animal-only show.
Tag,
from what
it
I
is
hear.
High 813121.
Yeah.
And until you pronounce my name properly, I don't want to speak to you.
Wow.
All right, I got a question. Have you ever heard of Have you ever been to an all-human circus?
Yeah, I've been to an all-human circus.
You have, haven't you?
Yeah.
They're all over the place, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
Because
everywhere.
when someone sets out to make a circus, that's just kind of how it ends up, isn't
Right.
it?
But no one designs. There aren't like auditions where only humans can show up. They're open to anybody. It just happens to be that the people who are the best for those roles are humans.
How do you know it didn't go down that way?
Well, I mean, it's
you
just
there?
common sense.
You think nobody in my circus has ever tried to audition for a human circus?
I genuinely believe that. Yeah, that no one has.
Whoa.
That's an insane thing to believe.
You know,
Are you kidding me? A whole circus full of people who only ever wanted to be in that circus? That's ridiculous.
You know, Rodney, you just sort of you ended up in our lap, and I know this wasn't planned, but I want to sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, just apologize for Tag's just existence.
No. You don't have to. You don't have to apologize for him. You don't have to speak for him.
Okay.
You know, I deal with 100 idiots like this guy every day coming into my doors. And you know what? After the show, they're still throwing Nick fingers.
Well, I'm not saying your show isn't good. Your show sounds amazing.
You're damn right it's
I'd
amazing.
love to see it. If I weren't tied up here, I'd go see your show. I'm just saying I think your attitude toward humans needs a little bit of work.
Well, all right, sure. I'm sorry about my attitude. I guess I should have just done my ad read and then gotten back into the ventilation system.
There we go. That would have been fine.
Whoa. Come on.
We didn't even have a slot for
Yeah.
this week, Tag. What's
Well,
wrong?
okay, yeah, thanks for filling in.
We gotta have common ground, right, buddy? There's gotta be something about
What?
you that
No,
doesn't make me so goddamn angry.
I got no problem with you. I love that you started your own business. I love that your show sounds great. I love your whole attitude about just being on the water and going wherever it takes you. That's my attitude towards the manifest. That it could steer me one direction or the other, and I don't care as long as I know I'm being carried by the soft caressing waves or the oppressive crushing waves of the
Stuff
manifest.
that's
Whichever.
just coming out of your mouth. See, he's always about the smooth waves of the manifest and the oppressive crushing waves of the manifest, and I just have just the one straight direction of just freedom and truth to go whichever direction doesn't even matter. And he's all like, he stonewalls me. He does this every week. I don't know. You know, I feel like I can just confide in. He does this every week.
Does he now?
He does.
Express my opinion?
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's just you never know a person until they're thrown into a situation, and then you see their true colors. You know, all of our guests, I'll be the first to admit it. All of our guests, they've been human, and that's on me. I have to check my privilege. You know, I haven't really reached out. But the second,
how much can I
you know,
expect?
the second we get a rat guest, we start seeing some true colors here. You know.
Again, I am not speciesist, okay? I just think all species matter. That's it.
Ooh.
I feel like you're pushing too hard, trying to throw me into some label or apply some label to me or throw me in a box, and I just don't fit.
You know what? You're right. This isn't fitting. But I for one, I don't like to believe in exclusion. We shouldn't write everybody off. Even though I do constantly say that about the manifest, but that's because that's off their choices. We can write off their choices. That's fine. But in terms of people, we need to find common ground. And I think we need to work towards that. Now, Tag, for all of his faults, of which there are many, he does have access to a little bit of a database that's called the Vault. And what we do in the Vault is there's a lot of Tag, you explain it for us.
You're in show business. You might enjoy this. So the Vault. What I do instead of collecting fines, because not all manifest employees collect fines.
Not a manifest employee then?
My job was art sanitation, so I watched old movies. I figured out what is acceptable to still be in public and what should be banned forever and locked in a vault. And I have access to that vault, so I can show you guys movies that the public can't see. And okay, just to prove to you I am not a speciesist and that I am really on board with rodents of all kinds. It's an American tale. It's got everything. Rodents, New York, and again, that fictional land of Russia makes another appearance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a question. Is Russia a place? I hear about Russia.
What? No, I mean it's a mythical place that way back before the manifest apparently was just in a lot of movies. But no, it's not a place. But if it was a place, it would be okay if it were a little better than us.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see how that would be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want some Nick fingers?
Oh, shoot, if you got them on hand, for sure.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Literally Everyone with your host, Cherry Gonzalez, the Puppet Master family reveals a sneak peek at President Chaz's new look. Also, what about the new voter registration laws could have you hacking up your entire family? And Cats and Hats. That's all tomorrow morning on the state-mandated required watching morning show, Good Morning Literally Everyone, with your host, Cherry Gonzalez. That's me, but you already know that. We'll see you tomorrow, or we'll see you in jail.
Okay, and that was An American Tale.
Was that a documentary?
It may have been. These movies are so old, it's kind of hard to tell what is made up. Like, we know Russia's made up, but I don't know if New York used to have land.
Because there are no cats in New York.
Really?
There are no cats there.
Yeah, well, cats can't swim, so that makes sense.
I always just thought that cats don't dance.
I mean, maybe I'm a little bit specious. I don't know anything about cats.
Well, they don't go to heaven, do they?
No, I always thought that was dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Dogs don't go to heaven?
No,
dogs do go to heaven. Yeah, they go to heaven. Cats, I don't know.
I think they get reincarnated, like in a cycle.
Okay.
Like 9 times, and then they just become part of the universe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. So there are no cats in New York.
No, that's a New York fact. Here's something that movie made me think of a little bit.
Okay.
Did I tell you guys why I call my circus Squiggly Pinko's Floating Circus?
I was scared you might.
No.
Well, it's Floating Circus because, well, start with circus. It's a circus.
Right.
And then you take a step back to floating. Yes, it does float. It is a raft made entirely of rats. And then take one step further back from that. We got Squiggly Pinkos. Squiggly, bunch of rat tails. And Pinkos, because rat tails are pink. And also because we are communists.
Oh, okay. See, now that's an important vein there. I was blown away by just the raw power that's shown in that by all the rats through their use of collective bargaining and unionization and standing together as a people. The lower class, the more agrarian people standing up against the rich, the literal fat cats that are just exploiting the poor and using them for their labor, but they control the means of the production. They're controlling all these workshops and all that stuff, and just all the mice are able to just rise together and just burn down the machine.
Jack, calm down.
There
Deep breaths.
is a small hole in the thing. Look, I just wanted to enjoy this movie and sort of be swept away, but now you're making me think about it, Jack, and for that, they were literally led by a rich mouse.
How do you mean? I mean, look.
The I don't know.
Yeah,
the
but
woman
that
they
was-
couldn't,
Okay.
couldn't say her R's.
Hear me out here.
She was a rich mouse.
Mm-hmm.
She led them.
I am a very rich mouse.
Okay.
Well, rat, very large rat. I got a food stockpile like you wouldn't believe. That my floating circus turns sweet edible profit. But suppose we float into a city where we just cannot get the people there to come see the show that we know they will so enjoy. Sometimes I got to pull out the card, the old collective bargaining card. If you don't strike a bargain with us in exchange for food we will perform for you, then we will collectively just fill your homes with animals.
So that sounds like extortion.
We will just, as a collective, we will just overrun your town with a spectacular volume of rats.
This is exactly
and larger, mostly
this
mammals.
is exactly the kind of short-sighted economic view that I expect from a communist.
I mean, that's a short-sighted view from the townspeople that don't want to go see a fantastic show that's fun for all.
Piece of garbage. You piece of garbage, all of us.
We're all
Pieces of
pieces
garbage.
of garbage. All right.
It's all right. So, okay, aside from the shocking revelation that you are a communist, and we'll have to get back to that later, the reason this movie was banned, Jack, you nailed it. It's an example of the little people trying to rise up, and of course, the unspeakable bad, but I'm going to speak of it anyway, of people from outside of America coming in. And you can just, this whole movie is a
that
great...
part made no sense to me. I was very confused. I can see the wall from my house.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, well, that wall, here's the thing. This is an old, ancient movie, really, like historically. That wall wasn't always there. There was a time when America was not protected by that Great Wall.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
How
it
would the
was
whole
not-
place not burn down?
What? Through diligent, constant fighting. And fortunately, we built that wall so we can relax a little bit. But we kept that statue in New York.
Right, to say, stay out of here.
Exactly.
Well, hold on. Okay, I was doing just some research on the deep web again, and I found that the wall. Some people say that other people built the wall around us, not that we built it.
That sounds weird.
Hi 813121. You have got to stay off the deep web. All right. It is. Your brain is not ready for that kind of thing. You've got to be a critical thinker and recognize when you see a completely false fabrication like that.
But again, I found that on social media as well, and I'm pretty sure everything on social media is the truth.
Wait, who would build something on the other side of the wall? There's no one. I thought on the other side of the wall is just woomph. There's nothing on the other side of the wall.
No.
That wall keeps the water in.
There actually could. There's land on the other side of the wall.
No. That's so stupid. The wall keeps the water in.
I don't think that's true.
Are you going to tell a rat who lives on the water?
That's true. You
where
are
the
a
water's
water
coming,
expert. I'm going to defer to you on that.
The wall keeps the water in.
Okay.
So here's my problem with that thinking. I mean, America right now is a horrible hellhole. It's run by despotic tyrants. and
Wonderful place
it's
ruled
the
by
worst place in
generous,
the world.
merciful leaders.
It's the worst place in the world, but it's
only
also the
place on the
greatest
world.
nation in the world, and we are the best at everything.
That's
Why
true.
would anyone want to keep us out?
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. The wall was built to keep others out from America. And I think this movie just shows a great example of just how, like, the kind of thing that used to happen before the wall. And this is why we built the wall. Things like this. People coming from other places into America, not prepared to live here, and it just leads to terrible, terrible things. All of the cats being shipped to Hong Kong, crime, pestilence. Who knows what those mice brought? You
Is
know,
Hong Kong and Russia?
Yeah, what's
I don't know.
send 'em
Maybe.
back?
Maybe. The point is, it's just far away.
Oh, you know that part where it wasn't a mouse, it was a cat the whole time.
Yeah.
We've done that. We did that at the
Really?
circus. Yeah, we've got that's one of the things that we do. You just get a whole bunch of rats, but then you get we rotate. We usually do like a monkey. So you get like a whole, just like a rat pile, like a big old rat pile, and then you get a monkey to sit on top, and you put a trench coat around that, and then you walk around, and we go, oh, look at me, I'm a person. Look at this, look at this person
pretty
walking
funny.
around.
You got us. You got us. So
satire.
good. That's
That's
us.
good.
That's
So-
what we do.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm a person. Look
Oh
at me.
my God! Oh,
I'm a
okay.
piece of garbage. Look at me, I'm walking around.
You know what, guys? I can laugh at ourselves.
Right.
That is how we
It's
talk.
funny.
That is how we talk.
Yeah, but don't you dare do a rat impression.
Oh no. Okay.
And I gotta say, look, it's part of my job, sort of, to make sure nothing, Tag gets away with absolutely nothing. And he just slipped in some casual speciesism there. He said, "What did those mice bring over?" Oh, I don't know, Tag. Maybe great circus culture, or wonderful tricks.
No.
Or,
American mice may have great circus culture.
That's what he's saying. He knows that the
Foreign
best
mice?
culture's grown local.
Exactly. America was not built by people from other places, all right? That's not how the country was founded. America was built by people here in America doing America.
So you're
right.
saying that if I had been grown in a vat outside of that wall, let's just pretend for a second that there are
And then-
other places outside.
And then
of
the
wall.
water started falling.
I know. Just humor me. That you would hate me.
Oh, automatically inferior.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
But
just.
that I didn't choose to be grown outside the wall.
Still,
I mean, can you
that's
say
not-
that
I mean,
for sure though?
So the little mouse Fievel in the movie, he didn't choose to not be American, but it's his fault. And it's certainly when he shows up here, and the children who come here illegally, those are the people we need the most protection from because they're going to be here the longest.
Well, I mean, if they're kids, like, wouldn't they be easily influenced enough where we could just, like, I mean, they're not going to be fully correct, of course, but we can get them,
Are you
can get them
talking
down the
about
road,
talking about assimilating?
I mean, you can get them down the road more
No,
than
you
like an adult,
you
right?
gotta understand. All right, so there's a thing called immigrant quantum entitlement. So this is getting really technical here. I'm not great on the science, but the
nerdy
idea
wiener
is
stuff.
it's immigrants are capable of existing in two states at the same time. On the one hand, they're too lazy to work and they take government handouts. On the other hand, and exactly at the same time, they can take all of our jobs. So that kind of threat, you can't bring that into the country. You can't say, I mean, that's just something inherent in them. All right, that's physics.
That's incredibly dangerous.
Exactly. So that's why we had to, fight back. And
I got to do my part with my circus. I'll tell you what, kids are not making it out of my circus anymore. From now on, kids sets foot, they can enjoy the show, they can throw their fingers in the middle, but after that, we're swallowing them up with the rat raft.
well, just
Down they go.
not hold on.
Down they go.
It's
Kid steps
not-
onto the
no,
rat
it's not.
raft.
It got
Shoot, down
no,
it goes.
Rodney.
Shoot.
It's not all kids.
You know what
not all
sound?
kids. It's
Shut up for 1 second. There's something you need to know. Do you know what sound it makes when a child gets sucked up by a raft made of rats?
I so don't.
Shoot.
Okay, so but Rodney, how do you know what kids are immigrants and which ones aren't?
I'm not a sniper. I'm a scattershot kind of guy.
So just
I'm not trying to please one member of the audience. I'm trying to please them all at the same time, and that means you just got to cast a wide net. No net wider than every child on the raft.
And
Oh,
then
yeah,
when you get them all at one time
He has
and
a
they fall through.
And then it's just a
It's
very
just a-
loud zoop.
This
See,
is
now
a good
that-
point. That is manifest policy. It's better to catch 100 innocent people
As
than
long
let
as you
one
get that
free
guilty
one go.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought it would. I never thought it would make a zoop. I always thought it'd be more like a sort of thing. To me, that sounds
it'd
like
be wetter, right? Yeah, it'd be wetter.
I always thought like a.
See, okay, so you dropped all that sweet science on us
Yeah,
just a moment
okay,
ago.
right.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
give you guys some crazy science right
Okay.
here. Because this is how we actually do a lot of the music for the circus.
All right.
So, this is not a single layer of rats. You understand? There's rats on rats on rats. It's about 2 feet thick rats.
Is that a New York foot?
Yeah, that's a New York foot.
So that's like about 4 normal feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it'd be
you
like
know a
eight
little
in the
bit.
conversion. Technically it'd be like
I'm getting
8
the conversion
feet.
right.
This
So
is
it's
2
doing
feet.
8
No,
feet,
it's
yeah.
2 feet.
Okay, but 2 feet is 4 feet.
So
no,
8 feet.
it's 2 New York feet. Why
Right,
are you guys
so
making
8
this so
normal
hard
feet.
for yourselves?
Okay, all right.
2 New York feet.
So we got 2 New York feet stacked rats, okay? And the rats on the bottom, they're soaking wet, sure. But then bubbles are getting conducted up and down from the air, so they're breathing fine. So there's a lot of rats wet on the bottom. Rats on the top are completely dry. But fur, here's a word for you. You heard of capillary action?
I have not.
Yeah, a capillary is the hole in the middle of a piece of fur, and then action is when something does stuff. So capillary action is when the little holes in the fur pull that water up through the rat stack. So it's a gradient of dampness up
So
through
at the
this
very
2
top,
New
it's
York-
completely dry.
It's completely dry at the top, but it doesn't suddenly get wet. It transitions to wetness as you get deeper. Okay? As you get deeper, it gets wetter. It transitions to wetness as you get deeper. And so, sure, maybe at the bottom it's making that kind of sound with the kids getting sucked underwater. But a child getting sucked through a material of transitory dampness, that goes zoop.
You know, my favorite part of this show is, it's always you find out something new every day, and it's just
Life is a wonderful,
these little
magical
facts
journey.
of life. I love
Absolutely.
it.
And just imagine the incredible sounds that you can make using that sort of material. So like when when like the elephants are walking out, then we're making use. We got like these like brass bells and stuff all over the place, and we're just sucking them down and pushing them back up through the rat raft. So it's like this like as it's going up and down. You've never heard a sound like it. Everybody who's listening to this, you gotta go to Squiggly Pinko's.
Yeah, guys, you gotta
Floating
check this
Circus.
out. You know?
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely
definitely.
magical.
if I ever get out of this bunker, I will definitely find a floating rat circus.
Sounds almost as good as the
We would-
songs in
And
American
we would
Tail.
give you the child treatment.
Yeah, there were. Now that you mention it, there were a lot of songs.
But isn't that more of like what you want out of life here?
I mean,
Is
I
that
do
people
lo-
just break into a musical number. I think you've said that.
As we do say,
Verbatim.
I do love the razzle dazzle. That is true. But I like it to be staged in a not staged way. Do you know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Right. Well, Rodney, we've been having a really good time here. We're coming near the end. We like to wrap things up with some listener questions. You might be able to, put in your 2 cents, or I get
With 2 fingers.
2 fingers. Do you have 2 cents up there? Would that be New York cents, or is that? Anyway, usually, hi 813121 handles our questions. Do you got anything for us this week?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, let me go ahead and talk about where you can send some stuff to us. Unfollow the revolution at gmail.com. We'd love to have your questions, comments, really anything you want.
You can tell us what you think the sound of a child being sucked into a 8-foot raft of rats would sound like.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, tag, let me do my job. At Unfollow the Revo, you can tweet us. And I don't know, maybe you can tell us what your favorite song with some is, or where you like raw Nick fingers inserted. But today's question from Unfollow the Revolution at gmail.com, it says, Jack, why fabricate a symposium just to bring on a manifest lackey as a guest? You pour a ton of energy into this podcast just to help promote the manifest and its ideals? Look, you failed to have even one member of Unfollow appear on your show. At this rate, I'm beginning to believe Tag. Unfollow is a fabrication, possibly of your devising. Where's the proof? Why should we rise up when there's no movement to back us? Cowed and careful.
Fucking men.
All right. Well, first off, Tag, that was very unprofessional.
I'm sorry.
All right, you need to work on that.
Okay,
All right. Number 2, cowed and what? Concern, cowardice, cromulent, something like that, whatever it was. Let's get a few things straight, all right? Nothing that is going on in this podcast is for the promotion or approval of the manifest.
Except everything I say.
Absolutely not. Tag is not reliable as a source on anything. We have broken him physically, and I'm sure the mental break is in the process of happening. Emotionally, he's very much on very thin ice.
I'm as shocked as anyone that I'm still all here.
The point is, all the guests that I have had on have not been as an endorsement of the manifest. I believe, as I've said, this podcast stands up for the little guy and fights the good fight. Now, you can fight a fight with a lot of bloodshed, a lot of fire, a lot of zooping of children. You can do that, but I believe that my fight can be done by finding common ground. That's the kind of fight that I fight. Now, in terms of me not finding anyone from Unfollow, well, if they were an underground secret organization, and then just anyone would be able to get them as a guest, they wouldn't be a very good organization, would they? Now, I know they're listening. I'm sure they're hearing every bit of this as the gospel truth that it is, and I'm sure when the time is right, they'll bring me in. And you know what? When that day comes, that might be the last time you ever hear old Jack, but you know what? Even if I'm not around, you can still feel me and hear. I'm motioning to my
I know
heart.
people from Unfollow.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Of course I know people from Unfollow.
How do you know people from Unfollow?
It's a lot of animals are part of the informant network. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm sure you know people who say they're part of Unfollow. It's not the same thing.
No, they're from Unfollow.
Wait, are they like, do you know them? Like, are they in your circus? Are they still in New York? Like, what?
I mean, look, not that we're in any particular amount of danger, because if you saw another rat in the street, you'd be like, oh, hey, look, there's Rodney Dangerfield again.
That's a little specious on your part.
Yeah, maybe it's a specious
All right,
assumption,
okay.
but be honest with me. Could you tell me from another rat in the street of a similar...
Nah,
One
not
of the
really,
bigger
not really.
ones I've
I'm
seen.
kind of glad we can admit that.
There's a certain point where I can no longer hold it against people.
That's
Rats,
fair, okay.
You know, it's something about brain can't tell rats apart, and it's just a human thing. Maybe I'm being specious now. But yeah, sure, of course, animals. They're small everywhere. Humans can't tell them apart. So yeah, a lot of us are part of the informant network.
Wow, can you, when this show's over, can can we rap a little bit? Maybe, you know, you could set up a meeting with a guy. I could talk with a guy, something like that.
I mean, I don't know how much I could tell you. Every now and then, you know, I used to do it. I don't do it anymore because I got so much stuff on my plate.
Oh, wow.
But it's just, you know, like a general trade of, you know, leaving envelopes with certain amounts of information of it, sealed on certain doorsteps, and then when you go to an agreed upon spot later that day, you can find, you know, like a whole trash bag full of Nick fingers.
Nah, this all sounds like people pulling your leg or some elaborate scam. You can follow this all you want, Jack. It's just going to be another dead end.
Right, who but Unfollow would be trading food for information, for town gossip?
I don't know, rich bored people.
It's Unfollow. It's got to be Unfollow.
All right. Well,
I don't know. Maybe I just aggregated a whole bunch of, you know, ridiculous town gossip, and I still got paid for it anyway. Unfollow, not Unfollow.
you know, we're gonna go in a little bit of more detail about this off the air, but before we close up our show, we usually like to hand our guest a wrench where they can beat up Tag, and seeing as how the wrench does seem to be bigger than you, if you want to just...
Now, give me that thing. Give me that.
Oh, yeah? Okay,
Sure,
I thought
sure,
maybe
sure,
you just wanted to go buck wild with your
Now,
teeth.
I got
or your-
thumbs. You kidding me? Let me see how I can
All
handle
right,
this
right
thing.
on. Okay, well, we'll do that. One last time, what is that circus? When is it going?
Squiggly Pinko's Floating Circus. It'll be in town for like 2 weeks or something. I don't know if you know where this is, but wherever you are, make your way towards a body of water, because only time will tell when Squiggly Pinko's Floating Circus will come your way to bring joy and magic into your lives. Fun for the whole family. Bring your kids.
We can go, right, Jack?
Absolutely we can. For Unfollow the Revolution.
I am High 813121.
I am Tag YOLO Thompson.
I'm Rodney Dangerfield.
And I am Jack, and we'll see you next episode. Just lay into him. Just lay into that little specious bastard. Look at him.
This thing, all right, it's not as heavy as I thought it would be.
You need a wrench. You need like...
Ow! Right in the shin.
I think it hurts him more like from like a shame
Can I, like,
point of view.
Can I like stab with it?
You can like perch on my hands. You can perch on my hands if you want to hire.
Oh,
Here we
all
go.
right, there's that balance. I was an acrobat for a few days.
Now go for the face.
Oh, that was all right.
It's nothing personal, you piece of garbage.
Okey fooch.
Unfollow the Revolution is created and performed by David Gossett, Ben Mitchell, and David Nair. Produced by Rock Punch. Intro music by Alan Hanks. Voiceover by Kate Rasnick. We'd like to thank our special guest this episode.
Ben Hirsch as Rodney Dangerfield.
If you'd like to join Jack's fight against the Manifest, please support the American Civil Liberties Union at www.aclu.org, because the best way to fight tyranny in the future is to protect freedom in the present.